Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the podcast series here on YouTube. I did mention that I was gonna do an episode a week, and I could do them for like an hour or so, but thinking about it, I was thinking, perhaps it's better to do shorter videos where it's more on the fly. For example, if I feel like talking about something quickly, I can just do a quick recording of it, and I think that's way more realistic. And because when I do like long form videos, like an hour long, my voice does suffer, and not just my voice but my brain as well. Like I just start losing my sense of self, right? So anyway, I was scrolling through Twitter X, and like I have a bad habit of opening links in new tab. That thing where you see a new image, a new piece of artwork, and it's instead of just liking it. For me, I tend to open link in new tab and then I just keep it there, and I have like so many tabs open now. It's a bad habit I have, but it's something that I go through anyway. So while going through that, I eventually stumbled upon this post. A hard pill to swallow. The only thing holding you back is your inability to do the work that you know you need to do without witness or immediate reward for a long enough period of time. Now, this post is by Ego Driv something. And this obviously is, I think it's Berserk. I think that's the manga or anime name. I haven't seen the show, but it's kind of popular, I guess. But lately there are times when I do lose a bit of motivation or energy. Maybe it's because like basic stuff, maybe you just lack sleep, maybe you haven't eaten yet. Sometimes when you lack protein, you do tend to feel somewhat drowsy or demotivated. So it could be simple stuff like that. But the point is, there are times when I just don't feel like when I don't have the passion that I feel I need to have or that I expect to have. But I've had these moments so many times that I kind of know it's sort of a pattern and it's natural. This kind of thing happens in waves where there's gonna be a time where you feel so motivated, and it's gonna show as well. And then eventually it's gonna drop at some point where you sort of hit a low and you're just not fully there. You're not performing as you should perform, right? And you can just tell by the results you're putting out or the work you're putting out, you're just not in the level that you think you should be or that you used to be in. And let me just underline a few things here, because sometimes I need to really implant it to my brain. Doing the work you need to do, like what you need to do, right? Let me just make the pen smaller. Like what you need to do. Without witness. So what that means is, like sometimes, for example, if you're doing some kind of content, doing it just for the views, I think is like there needs to be some kind of internal motivation. Like if you yourself are not motivated by yourself to do it, without people seeing you, there's this saying that you are, like, you'll know who you are by how you behave when no one's watching. I think that's how it goes, or something like that. The point is, you'll really see who you are when, through what you do, how you behave when no one's watching. And that's just something that, given that we're creative types, we tend to be kind of alone anyway, because the work requires for it. Or maybe it's because we're alone that we tend to be artistic, and because of that. So I'm not sure which comes first, but the point is, we do tend to be somewhat isolated, somewhat yeah. So even though that's the case, it still sucks when you don't always have this internal motivation. And even if you do have it, the fact that it's gonna go away eventually, regularly even, And it's almost expected at this point. It still sucks when you're in your low points. Now the immediate reward, I kind of get it, and I'm kind of used to. I think it helps if you just think of the present more. It's nice to think about what you could achieve in the future. You know, there's this concept of the compound effect. Like over time, once you do enough of the thing, eventually all of your actions are gonna compound, and in the end, it's all going to make like you're going to see this almost like a sharp rise in progress or results. So basically, it's small actions every day, and collectively over time, that's gonna compound into something that's gonna be a win. So for me, I do understand that concept, and it's not really an issue for me. But sometimes I think it's more this enough period of time. It's more of a sustainability thing, or a long-term thing. If you don't have that long-term thinking, like if you don't understand how what you do now will pay off, I think it's gonna affect the way you work. And for me, I do get this. I don't really have an issue with it, but I think it's sometimes I need to tell myself, I need to be my own boss in a way. Like I need to somewhat be mean to myself. And maybe we're the same way. Like I feel like you can't have just one personality. I think you need to have a different set of personalities. And for me, sometimes I feel like I need to really not scold, but just remind myself that I need to do the work, right? And the fact that this guy mentioned it's a hard pill to swallow, and this got a bunch of like likes and views, like it's a very common thing people go through, and it's really just you yourself are holding yourself back. I mean, there are plenty of external things that can get in the way of your progress, of your work, but those things are usually not as controllable. There's the concept of there's your circle of control, right? Your circle of control, and then there's a circle bigger than that, which is outside so of your control. So it's not in your control. So everything that's internal is going to be within your control, and everything outside of it is going to be not in your control. So what you want to do, or the best way to save time, I learned this from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So his idea is you want to make sure that you spend more time here in your circle of control than here. Right? We can't spend time worrying about things we can't control anyway. So it's a very somewhat individualistic mindset, but I think it helps, given that we're somewhat isolated anyway. If you're an artist, I think this concept can really help you. Circle of control, right? To focus more on this side, on this small thing. And notice what happens here. It's gonna happen anyway, but when it comes to actions, I think this is where the magic happens, and this is where the results happen as well. So spend more time in this area than on the outside, and I think that's an easy way to sort of just slow down and tune out the noise. If you just realize what's in your control and what's outside of control, it just makes things so much easier. However, even if that's the case, it's still a hard pill to swallow. In your circle of control, you are the thing that's gonna either make you or break you. And I don't think this ever goes away. I think you'll always run into yourself eventually, but I think you can get better over time. I'm not fully there yet. I don't know if I've fully... Maybe that's not the goal, to fully figure things out. Maybe it's just to make progress, right? To move forward. So I'm still learning. I'm still trying to push myself to make progress. And I think we know what we need to do. Usually it's just spending time on your canvas, on your pen display, on your pen tablet, holding your stylus pen and drawing something, painting something. Maybe it's doing your project, starting your project, practicing your whatever you need to practice. Maybe it's human anatomy, maybe it's your proportions. For example, if you're trying to market yourself, it's probably going to be creating some kind of content. Maybe you need to know that, or maybe you need to pursue a schedule and keep up with a schedule you've set for yourself. Obviously, you need to do the work to know what you need to do. So a bit of thinking helps, a bit of planning helps, but you can have the best plans and best sort of like schedule all you want, but if you don't do anything, like if you can't do anything without witness, meaning just by yourself, no one really knows what you're doing. And even if you do something, even if you post something, even if you create something, if you always feel like you need those likes, those views, that attention, that's also really related to the immediate reward thing, where because when you see likes and views, and if you see like high engagement in your work, obviously it's very, very rewarding. But what if that doesn't happen? What if it gets less views, less attention than usual? If it depends so much on the external stuff, it's because both of these, the immediate reward, the reward, and the witnessing, these are all on the outside. These are all external stuff, right? So this exists, by the way, but I think when it comes to the internal motivation, it has to be obviously internal. When it comes to the rewards, it has to be internal as well. You can't depend on like views, likes, attention, or feedback in any kind of way. I think you need to find. I think that you can easily motivate yourself internally, right? Internal motivation, if your rewards are also internal. So internal motivation, it's sort of related. Internal motivation is related to internal rewards. So what does this look like? Some examples. Well, it's kind of hard to. I think this varies from person to person, but doing things for the sake of doing it. I know that seems like a very vague answer, but for example, when I post stuff, say on YouTube, just knowing that I posted a video, it does give me a bit of satisfaction because I feel like I get to cross something out of my list. And just seeing like a post, for example, because whenever you post videos on YouTube, it shows like when you posted a video. Is it a day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago? When I see like a consecutive series of videos and I see that consistency, it does give me a bit of that satisfaction. So I'm not sure if there's some kind of mental thing that's happening there that's sort of a trick, but people have given some advice where if you want to stick to a habit, you want to have like a calendar, and every time you finish like a habit, you want to cross it out. For example, if you have a calendar over here, right? Every time you finish or accomplish a task for that day, or if you accomplish that habit, then you cross it out. And just seeing this sort of streak of progress, it's sort of motivating you, and it's gonna help you keep going. I'm not sure what the term is, but having that solid track record makes you want to keep that momentum going. So maybe, I forgot, there's a term for it, like visual reward, like just being able to X something out or check something, right? So internal rewards, maybe consider something visual. Given that we're artists anyway, I think when we visually see something cool, just make sure obviously it's going to be internal. Don't focus on the views, don't focus on those sorts of things, but maybe think of something that's visual. If you post something, just being able to see your post online, it's not private or anything. Just, I mean, you can make your work private if you're not really confident in your work, or maybe you're trying to experiment, sure, but just being able to visually see your, I have it now, being able to visually see your progress. I think that's it. If you can visually see your progress, I think that's a good way to internally motivate yourself. Let me just change the arrow. Show. You. So that's my one tip for you. I'm not sure if there's, I'm sure there's more like internal ways to motivate yourself, but I think this is especially for the artistic types, which is probably you anyway. Find a way to, you can try this, maybe doing Xing out like each day of the month, having a to-do list and being able to cross it out or check it out, right? If you're posting something online, just being able to see your feed, your public feed, whether private or public, just being able to see this constant feed of posts, it shows you that you are doing the work, and it's a very quick visual way to see your progress. For example, if you have like Instagram, ArtStation, Akara, if you when you have like a bunch of posts, even if I don't post as much on those sites, eventually I do want to, but whenever I see people's work and they have like a really long feed of like posts, it's just so motivating. Even if I myself haven't posted anything, I feel motivated to sort of do that too, just because that consistency or that body of work, that volume of work, is a testament to their output, right? The results. It just shows you that they really are putting in the work, and to be able to visually see that progress, it's not just progress, maybe results, same thing, right? Just being able to visually see that you're doing something, I think is a great way to motivate yourself internally. So hopefully this helps you in some way. I'll try to keep this episode more on the fly, keep it natural, and I think doing weekly long episodes is just too much. And by the time I do them, I'm sort of like lost and tired, right? So better to do these ones and keep it sort of short and sweet. So hopefully this helps you in some way. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.